everybody, it's Uncle Scott. Welcome back to the Qwerky Reax channel. And it's been a while since I've done some Dimash, guys. I figure I should get the hair out of my mouth first. Yeah. Maybe it's time for a trim. What do you think? Yeah, so I was just thinking about it, that I've been doing a lot of other artists lately. You know, some Ren, some Ray, some even some Chappell Roan, some Morissette, like all these great Diana, just all these great people. And then I don't want to forget about some of the ones that I've seen in the past, that I've watched in the past, that you guys have been pretty like, hey man, like, did you hear him do this song, or did you hear her do this song? So figured it was time to get back to some Dimash, which is what we're going to do today. I'm pretty stoked for it, actually, because it was one of the ones that was heavily recommended a while ago that I had on my list with like a little star by it. And then I just never got around to it. So I think it's Ikanaide. Like in English, it'd be like Ikanaide, but that can't be right. But we'll see. Also, right off jump, I think this might be the first time I've ever seen Dimash in something other than like a tux or a suit. So him in like casual clothing is throwing me off. Looks like this was shortly after the pandemic, because it looks like it's promoting this November 28th, 2021 Jazz Festival in Tokyo. But also, it looks like he's in like a recording studio, because just to the setup, I see a piano in the back. Looks like a camera or maybe another mic behind him. Some other audio equipment. There's lots of soundproofing around him. So looks like that's the head of the guitar right below his right arm, in between the mic and him. So I don't know. Let's see what this is, guys. Dimash always amazes, right? So I figured just jump in. No need for the long preamble. Just wanted to let you know why I got here, or how we got here today. All right. This is Dimash Ikanaide? Who knows? Let's see if I can decipher it from his singing. How about that? We'll try. All right, here we go. This is a cool looking sound studio, though. Look at the background. It's dope. Wow. He so effortlessly always does those, like, and this is natural. This isn't even like what we see Dimash do sometimes, where he just goes for it and all of a sudden it's like he's singing a different voice part. But even in this would be like probably like a tenor one part that he's doing. He's singing in the very what I would call his like speaking register, and then he goes for those high notes, and it just sounds so natural, so effortless. Effortless is the word. And it's just awesome, because even if he didn't have what we know Dimash has, which I'm guessing will come later, because he always like shows off in his songs, as he should. Even if he didn't have that, just the purity of sound and tone that he's hitting these, what let's call them basic, for lack of a better term, that he's hitting these basic notes with is so effortless and beautiful. It sounds so beautiful. It's so good. Like, it's so gentle. It's so light. Oh, nice. Nice. Doesn't this, excuse me, doesn't this sound a little bit like one of those old 90s ballads where they're just singing about love and the loss of love, or how they don't want to lose the love? And it's like, da da da, da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't any song in my head. I'm just saying it has that like longing feeling to it that a lot of those, you know, romance ballads of the, you know, mid 90s had. And listen, that's no shade for me. That's what I grew up on. So I dig it. It's just I'm getting some smattering of that in this. Also, that little flutter he did where, you know, where he just kind of let his voice waver a little bit. To have a controlled waver like that is just impressive. Because he wasn't wavering. He was wavering for the emotion, but it wasn't an emotional waver. It was a skilled waver. It was hitting particular notes and you could hear it. That's just, he's so well trained. It's really amazing. And for him to do it so lightly like that, I'm always talking about how I love it when powerful voices that, you know, have all of this strength behind them, do these like light, almost effervescent sounds above the music where you just feel like you're like lilting on a cloud kind of thing. And that's what his sound quality sounded like in that. Sound quality sounded like, I don't know, guys. Yeah, I try, you know? Wait, is he in Ikanaide? Is that Please Don't Go? Ikanaide. He keeps going back to that. I think that's what, and I think that's how you say it. Ikanaide. Am I hearing that right? You guys tell me in the comments. Is that right? It's Ikanaide, and then Please Don't Go Away, or Please Don't Go. I think maybe it's Don't Go. Please Don't Go, I mean. Or is it just Don't Go? I don't know. You guys will tell me because you'll know. So let me know. And please don't go. No, it's that. I'm in a weird mood. He's gonna turn into Dimash at some point, right? Clearly. Come on, bro. Yeah, we're gonna listen to that again. It wasn't even over, but I needed to hear that whole build up to it again. It's hilarious that I just said he's going to turn into Dimash at some point. And before you all come at me in the comments and say that the beginning wasn't him, you know what I mean. He was being him and being a good singer, but you know what I mean. I wanted to hear this part where he shows what Dimash does, not what just like every very well trained singer does. All right, let's back that up because I want to hear that again. I'll do it twice here. Bro, did you see that? Okay, see that? Okay. Just went from like his jaw, his mouth structure, none of it changed. And he went from the really high stuff to back to his regular register. And that to me is the thing that always gets me with him, is how he can so seamlessly go. I get biologically why he should be able to do that, but like our ears don't compute with what our eyes are seeing. Excuse me. Like I don't understand how he's so easily just, he's super high right now and everything's open and ready. It's like he's just able to switch to a different vocal cord or something, and then is suddenly able to just go right back to as if he wasn't just singing from the archangels and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. It's like he's possessed with this higher register singer for a little while, and then all of a sudden it's like, but there's no motion. Like it just happens all internal. Watch how effortless this is. Watch him go and not change mouth structure. All he does is take a breath, and he goes straight from this incredible high to, he doesn't even like dip his head down. He doesn't do any of those things. That takes control, breath control, voice control, structural control. This is amazing. This is really cool. What he just did there is really, really cool. Wait, did that happen on a cut? Let me see. I mean, it happened on a cut, but I believe that was probably the same take. So you guys know what I mean? Like, obviously, you know, just from a filmmaker standpoint, a lot of times you hide, you can hide different shots, you can hide different takes through cuts. Because if there's a cut at that, like, let me give you a perfect example. If you're ever watching TV and you see an interview with somebody, right? It doesn't matter, news, movie, celebrity interview, or something like that. And you've got the reporter or the person asking the questions and the person being interviewed, right? And then you hear, excuse me, something in my throat today. You hear the interviewer asks a question and you see the interviewer. And then the person, the celebrity, answers the question, and then while they're answering the question, all of a sudden you get a quick look back at the reporter or the interviewer, and they're nodding or going or something like that. Usually they don't make any sound, they're just going, they're nodding, right? And then you go back to this person, like 98% of the time that's because this person stumbled or because what they said was too long, and for time you need to cut out what they said, and you're trying to make it seem seamless. Like you can do it with the audio and make it sound like their thought was complete. Or you could take out the ums or the ahs or something like that. So if someone says, I went to the park yesterday and, you know, it was really interesting because I saw Dimash there, you can cut that and say, well, I went to the park yesterday, cut, and I saw Dimash there. And by switching to the other person, you cover the edit so it looks like that's all the person said. Because by switching back to this person, you're saving it from the jump cut that it would appear of you snipping out all that extra time it took them to say the sentence. Hopefully that makes sense. It's an editing trick that you use in journalism more than anywhere else. But it happens in movies too. It happens in music videos all the time. But usually you're covering a take cut because you don't want there to be a jump cut between the things. But you can also use cuts just because you want to show a different angle. You wanted to get closer to them. So I don't think that was a cut for covering sake. I think that was a cut for emotion or tone sake, if that makes sense. For those of you who don't like going down these filmmaker rabbit holes, I don't know what to tell you because I can't help but do it. But also, if you're curious about more of that stuff, let me know in the comments because I love a lot of the things that you can do and the way you can cheat things with edit. So I love to talk about it. And I bet if you take what I just said to heart, if you didn't know it before, you'll notice it now. You'll notice when you're watching something, you'll be like, wait, why did they just turn to that person, like nodding their head right there? Oh, it's because Uncle Scott said they're covering up a mistake, or they're covering up a cut, or they're covering up they're shortening what that guy said. And it looks very natural when you see it, but now that you know that that's what's happening, I'll bet that it'll make sense. You'll see it from now on. And it's just kind of a cool, there's nothing nefarious with it usually. It's just to make it look better. Another crazy thing is back in the day, and actually it's starting to happen again now, especially in news channels, when they do an interview with somebody, the reporter is a one-man band. What that means is that they're shooting their own stuff. So they've set up the camera behind them and everything else. So when they're done shooting the interview, they have to shoot what's called reversals. And so they'll set the camera up again, but over the shoulder of the guest that they're talking to, so that the camera's on them now, and they'll re-ask some of the questions as if they're asking them for the first time. And they'll do a series of nods and like agreements or listening shots, so that when they edit later, if they need to cover or make one of these cuts that I'm talking about right now, they have the B-roll to do it. B-roll is what they call not A-roll. A-roll is when is the stuff that's on the focus of the topic, the focus of your interview, the subject of your interview. B-roll is all the stuff that you cover around it. Thus endeth the editing lesson for the day. And I'll probably chapter this so that you guys can just get right back to the music if you want to. Because I have been getting comments lately where people are like, you talk too much. Sorry, it's a reaction channel. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, I don't think this was covered by that type of cut. I think this was done for the purpose of tone and emotion. And it's also just badass. He's a badass the way he's able to do this. Wow. Oh, bro, I love that. Wow. love how emotionally it's like everything for him is a performance, right? Like everything Dimash does is a performance. Every time he sings, it's a performance. It's never just like singing for singing's sake. And I love that. I love how he's gets so emotional. He gets so into it every time. It's just such a it's just so dope to witness, you know? It's so dope to watch his music videos and watch the way he does stuff. Because I don't mean when he does some of his music videos, they're obvious performances, right? And they're always really well done. But this is different. Like this he just like you feel that he feels it. You see that he feels the music as he's singing it, and not a lot of people pull that off. Like they seem like they're getting into it and they've got like the gravitas when they sing, but it's not hitting the way it hits when Dimash does it. I know you guys agree because I've heard is such wonderful things about him in the comments and everything else, and how his music just gets better and better. And I agree. Like this probably isn't one that I would put up there. Like I think you guys know, like Olympico, like blew me out of the water. Probably my favorite Dimash song. But like this was so delicate, and yet he does some of the stuff that he does with ease. It's just so impressive. You can't help but be a little stunned every time. And that's just dope. How is that, you know, that's the way you want to be. That's the not the way you want to be. It's the things you want to enjoy. It's the way you want to be being stunned. Like you want to feel that kind of like awe when you're watching an artist, you know, crush it at what they're meant to do. That's really dope. Thank you guys for joining me. If you made it this far, you know I appreciate you, especially after my long segue about editing and how all of that works. Hope you don't mind the little tangent. And if you did, my bad, yo. Can't help it. Can't help but talk about that stuff. Like, if you ever wondered what all these film posters are behind me on the wall, like, you know, those are all things that I've edited and directed and produced. So, like this side is just regular movies where I've got like signed posters, but this side is all stuff that I've worked on. So I can't help but not like approach things from that standpoint. It's like ingrained in here. So hopefully you found it valuable. If you didn't, I'm sorry, but you know, hopefully you enjoyed the music too, I guess. More Ren coming this week, guys, as promised. I think I might get to record with Crystal this week, which would be awesome because I'd love to give you some of her before the end of the week. And then there's a chance, fingers crossed, I might be able to record with Jackie this week. So she should be coming back to the channel. She probably won't be able to show you her this week. Will probably be next week, just because of planning and the holiday and everything else. But we'll work it out. Anyway, thank you guys again so much. I just smacked my mic. Thank you so much again for watching. You know I appreciate you, and hope your week is doing okay. Hope you're making it through. Hope the music is helping, and I hope this is a nice diversion if you need it. Remember, please, please, please don't wait for life to be easy to be happy.